Just vibing tonight.
I like that.
Yeah.
Welcome to Did You Hear Me? I'm your host, Sleezy, joined by PackMan and the Sheriff. How are y'all doing?
Excellent. So glad to be here on this
Absolutely
strange recording night.
It's a little different, as we alluded to last episode. An early recording due to my travel requirements.
The land.
To pay the bills. Headed to the land on Sunday morning.
When the flow calls, you must answer.
Yeah, a lot of different meanings to that. So,
Yeah, that's
got to go pay some bills and make sure we still have a
pun intended.
recording room to come back to.
Upgrades. Upgrades for the boom boom room.
We're not there yet, but we just got to keep the base.
Well on our way.
Yeah. So, since we've already got it already poured, we had to mix this before we came up here. We'll go ahead and talk about the drink of the week. We have honored the sheriffs.
I am so pleased.
We knew he'd have 12 in his car anyway. So we got some Arnold Palmer. For those of you who don't know, it's half and half iced tea, half lemonade.
The light, though.
Arizona. Oh,
I
because
only
we're
drink the
counting
light.
calories. Counting calories, right?
Oh man, so instead of getting fat, we're gonna get cancer. Is that right?
That's exactly right. We won't be like Wilfred Brimley in the middle of the night talking about diabetes.
Diabetes.
So is that why you drink 2 for everybody's normal 1? Because it's light? So you combine it?
I might like the taste. You never know.
Yeah, it's different.
I'm strictly, I'm just Arnold Palmer tonight.
Yeah, Sheriff has some requirements tonight, so...
you gotta always be ready to deploy.
That's it.
Always ready to deploy. So Pack and I have added a company to the half and half.
Sweater wearing Tito's.
That's right.
I like it.
Got it from Village.
Shout out.
Yeah. No discount on the sweater vodka, but always 10% discount when you mention the podcast when you get that mix and match 6 beers.
I like it.
Hope y'all are giving them an earful when you go to get that. Let them know we sent you. So
let me pop my top here.
Yeah. So anyways, we've already got it mixed. Let's go ahead and get a little sip of
Ours
this.
isn't gonna make
Cheers.
a noise.
Nope. He's got Sheriff keep
That's
it in a
it.
plastic bottle.
The sugar. Hey, we got a vodka for dog people sweater. I like it.
Yeah, it's I'm not a huge Arnold Palmer fan.
Yeah, me neither, but I like the vodka.
Blasphemy.
So it'll work.
Yeah,
It'll drink. Couldn't do it every day. Couldn't do 12 as the Sheriff does. With the Tito's, Tito makes it palatable.
The sugar content is to be noted, but I normally try to keep it to 2 a day. Where it gets misconstrued is I will probably have 4 or 5
on hand.
But I'm like Mama Sleezy. I'm just trying to pace myself.
Okay.
What?
Like in a race?
Like a good runner.
Oh, okay.
Don't be taking that. I know the Tito's might start kicking into the bloodstream,
not
but
this
Not yet.
No puns are intended when we're talking about the mamas. They're off limits.
Well,
I agree. I'll second
I
that.
don't.
No.
Unless it's
Nothing's
I
off limits on Did
There
You Hear Me?
go. Another good shirt idea right there.
There we
There
go.
we go. Yeah, put it on a shirt.
Nothing's off limits, and we're always ready to deploy. That might be our next shirt line.
Trying to survive.
Oh, that's with a little dollar sign at the beginning of survive.
I do like it. Sheriff has on his podcast shirt tonight.
Shut up. Yeah.
Scott Bobby, check. He listened. A little inside joke we won't go into, but Scott Bobby knows.
We thank Scott Bobby.
Hey,
Yep,
Scott,
that's it.
Scott Bobby made this possible.
He's making it all possible, and we need to get him a sweater like that. He is a dog person.
Yeah, he would look good in that Tito sweater. Get him a human size one. But so this is
That's pretty good.
No secrets here. We already said we're recording on a Friday night, so the big games are coming up.
Ooh, can't
Starting
wait
tonight.
I thought about doing, because it would only be funny to me, so we're not going to do it. But if anybody has ever watched Man on the Moon, Jim Carrey, about anyway, there's a thing there where he created a special on TV and created the static, and everybody started banging their TVs because they thought it was their TV. And he laughed. He was the only one that got the joke. So I thought it would have been funny to do this episode as if we had watched the games and just prognosticate and say, "Oh, what a great game! Oregon really came through," and it could be completely
way
wrong.
Off.
And we don't apologize, and we just post the episode Sunday like we watched everything. I thought that would have been funny, just
like
to me.
A live.
Yeah.
That would be like a
I don't
live.
think that would land well.
A clairvoyant thread of integrity.
Yeah.
What would that be? Would that really be integral though?
No, it'd just be a bad podcast. But I would laugh.
What if we got it right?
A little Nostradamus.
Only we would know.
Unfortunately, we've had 10 episodes to tell everybody how bad we are at prognosticating these games.
Well, when your hometown squad is 4-7-1 against the spread, it's already a bad start.
Yeah, but Sheriff, you heading to game day tomorrow?
I am not.
Oh, all right. Breaking news.
Yeah.
I asked about. Well, my 2 children wanted to go, so the female deputies, even the one that can't talk, immediately shot it down.
Yep.
We know that Big Brain, newsflash and a breaking news alert, Big Brain has picked the Bama Turds. So I don't even think she's going to watch the game.
Nah.
She's already given up, huh?
To the point where she made an appointment with Santa Claus at 17:15 hours Leo time, which is going to be about smack dab halfway through the second quarter of what I think could be the national championship, certainly as far as a talent level. But anyway, I and the deputies are going about 17 different ways tomorrow. And so there will be no more conversations with Kirk Herbstreit.
Are you going to see Santa?
I am not.
Okay. All right. So you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Santa and the sheriff are not going to meet for a couple more weeks. Until he slides down my chimney.
Got it.
But we do have some stuff going on in the morning. Identify the target.
So does Big Brain just hate football in general? Because this is the second football game she has scheduled.
Yes.
Your Pennywise pictures. What game was that?
Yeah, this seems to be a theme here. And the photographer
is surprisingly available.
Is the same photographer as the Pennywise.
That should be a clue.
Yep.
So why this very good photographer is available at these times.
Right, but the photographer is from South Carolina, so I'm going to assume she's a fan of the Gamecocks or Clemson. It could be a poor assumption. She still lives close to Athens.
The Chancellors.
The Chanticleers.
There you go. That's a better pronunciation.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina, shout out.
Could be.
That's credit to you, Lee, for even knowing the mascot, but I'm not happy about it. And everybody can see that my face is as red as a stop sign.
I think this is a good place to get it out, recorded for everybody to hear. Go ahead.
Big Brain. She's a listener. But I think it is that the viewing of the game and the lack of control leads to anxiety. And then she's also thought for years, because she is the true Georgia fan, Clemson grad, but a Georgia fan from birth. If she doesn't watch the game, therefore she controls that they're going to win.
So, so she's kind of
superstitious, kind of
superstitious.
Kind of like South Georgia Megan's, what was it, brownies that she first got to make?
Oh, the special brownies.
Yeah.
Special brownies.
She's going to need to give some to me, because I think this game it might go to the last snap.
I don't think it'll be close.
In which direction?
I think Georgia. I don't know. Maybe I'm overly confident. I don't think it's. When I say not going to be close, I don't mean like it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think the game will ever be in jeopardy. I think Georgia is going to obviously win, and I don't think it'll be close in terms of any threat to Alabama win.
I like your confidence. I think I would be more confident if I knew exactly how healthy Brock Bowers was.
Yeah, that's good.
And if Lad McConkey's going to make an appearance. I think I would be more confident then. Just as a football fan, I'm pumped up. I think it's good. I mean, it's the game.
I'm pumped up.
I'm pumped up for tonight.
Oh, I am too. I'm ready. Last night, no college football. I searched. So I'm even more pumped because I usually have some garbage game to watch.
NFL was on.
Man, I don't have Amazon Prime.
Oh man, I thought everybody had Amazon Prime.
I'm not slave to the to the corporate
Bezos.
fuel.
Oh, man. Let the conspiracy theorists rejoice.
But if I had somebody's login, I'd have used it. So,
We could have gave you big brains.
Reach out, man.
that was actually a good game, but
It was an excellent game. The Cowgirls and the Seahawks.
The hated Seahawks.
Oh boy!
Shout
we
out.
know who Pack was cheering
Shout
for.
out, and not only that, it actually, if we being the Packers are going to vie for a wild card spot, we needed the Seahawks to lose anyway. So shout out the Cowboys, as painful as it is to say that, even, but for beating the Seahawks.
We know that Pack is a lover of the over bet, and that thing went way over.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
oh yeah, there was no punts.
60.
No
That's
punts
right.
in an NFL game. One of a handful only to occur.
I
in
think
history.
our friend with the tank top flashed a stat. I know that I was out here
Pat McAfee
keeping the classic city safe, but I was also
always.
listening to our tank top fitted friend, and I think that's like the first time since like 1960 or something that there's been 0 punts.
He would know, as a former punter, I guess.
He
It's
was-
probably
he was
something
perturbed.
Yeah.
Also, he's got a really good stack guy, which we lack.
Yeah.
I'm
We can get somebody on the payroll of $0 to come run the stack.
Actually, I think we'd have to charge them
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
that
that's
guy.
I'm trying to fill in for that role, but right now I'm double dipping and everything, so we got too many roles.
Hey,
Deployment ready, stat guy.
That's it.
a lot of hats to wear.
I was a midwife last week.
You were. A lot of, well, in my circle, a lot of conversation about that.
Yeah, I
About
was
you
told
taking
that
over for Big Brain and Big Brain taking over for you. It's an
I-
interesting question.
So, did she listen? How did she feel about the question?
I
I'm
made her
curious.
listen to that because I knew the reaction would be pure hilarity. If I was actually good at this, I would have recorded the reaction, but I guess I recorded in my mind's eye. But I was told that the hand size / private area conversation was way across the line. So I raised my hand to the listeners.
That big old hand. Raise that
apologize.
big hand.
And I messed up a couple other things that I was supposed to set the record straight, but I can't remember.
You got to bring a list.
Oh, I
next
said
time.
Kevin Steele was Auburn's defensive coordinator, which I think years ago he was, but now he's with the Bama Turds.
Okay.
Because I think he was the DC at Auburn. Then he was at Clemson, then went to Auburn. He's been on a Southeastern tour, Kevin
so you had him at
Steele.
the wrong spot at the
With
wrong
an E.
time.
Yes, I had
Okay.
him on the wrong team.
Okay.
But my point
Forgivable.
will still stand.
I had a rant about the wrong announcer last week, so you know.
Oh, yeah. Whole
Well, I
segment.
loved it.
It happened. It
The
happened.
passion was
That's all
there, though.
That's right.
Hey, I get fired up about certain.
Greg McElroy and Jordan Rodgers.
Yep.
I don't know. I could be related to Greg McElroy with the red hair, so I liked it.
Don't let me forget. We got to get back to the Rodgers situation. But let's talk about these games real quick.
Come
Kind
on
of keep
with
it in line and
Sorry,
quit
I'm-
bouncing around.
Be
bouncing
bopping around.
Stay with
The
us.
coffee's kicking
That's
in.
all right.
I know half of them already turned it off, but let's keep going. So
Just
tonight,
get that download in. That's all we care about.
The numbers.
got to get that stat.
Yeah.
So tonight, Oregon, Washington. When we agreed last week, we believe this is a play-in game to the 4-team playoff for the college
Yeah,
football
I think so.
Here we
Unless,
go.
but I don't know. Is there any scenario where Oregon wins and doesn't get in? I don't know. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
This is where I would say. I said the other week that if ifs and buts
Right.
were candy and nuts, that we'd all have a Merry Christmas. And I'm thinking of another expression that would say if my aunt had something, that she would be my uncle. But that may get us canceled.
Yeah. So anyway, is there any scenario?
I don't like the.
man.
It is. Excuse can testify that we have done the what ifs, even within the unit. I do not like them.
Well,
This is a play-in game.
We have to talk.
The winner of the Pac-12,
and
because
it's what I want to talk about.
and yes, I'm again red in the face with hypertension, but this is a play-in game. The Pac-12 has got a lot of media traction, which I think the committee's never going to admit it, but they're listening. They have ears. They're all administrators that are worried about the bottom line and all the stuff they say they don't care about. The Pac-12 has been a very competitive conference, and so the winner of that, I think, has to get in. Now that I say that, they won't get in.
Pack was looking up. Go ahead.
Yeah,
the game
okay,
tonight.
so
Spread.
tonight, Oregon, Washington. Oregon 9.5 point favorite. Over under is 65.5. That's, let me see, it looks like the highest over under of the relevant games that we care about.
Yeah, I would say the Utah Utes and our boy Dan Lanning is about the only two schools out there that play defense. But I don't want to sound, I am an SEC homer, but I don't want to sound like it. But I think they're, and the stat guy will have to correct me if I'm wrong, Washington won 36-33 in the regular season.
It was 3 points,
So it was in the 60s, so it sounds like the folks with the large buildings and the fountains and the marbled tile think it's going to be a similar game.
Yeah, it looks like.
I'll probably take the under, though, because I think Oregon's going
to
corral Washington a little better than last game.
I think you and I...
So if you're taking the under, are you taking...
Because I think it was what, 69 points the last game they
Correct.
played. I don't think Washington's going to score as much.
Shout out to 69.
So
sorry, Lee. We're already mentally alike.
So are you taking Oregon at 9.5?
See, that I'm not as confident about.
Yeah,
I'm confident about taking the under.
Okay.
Based off my expert.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, let me ask you this then. Expert. Just straight up, no spread.
Okay.
Who are you taking? Oregon or Washington?
I have been bullish I've been bullish on the Ducks. I think this game is going to be the blowout of the weekend.
Okay.
Oh.
I think it's hard to beat a team twice in a season, number one. Number two, it wasn't, that was a back and forth game that they played earlier in the season, so it wasn't like one side dominated the other.
Correct.
And Washington really didn't play as well down the stretch as Oregon did, in my opinion. So that's why I'm taking Oregon.
Okay.
I like it. Quack, quack.
I'm with y'all. So, well, here's where I differentiate. So I asked y'all straight up. I'll take Oregon straight up. I'm taking Washington with the spread, though. 9.5. I don't think
that's a fair bit.
Yeah.
That has held, I think the people with the large and deep pockets are with you, Pack, because I think that got as high as 10.5, but it's pretty, I think with like a day or two, it got up to 10.5, and then it came right back down. Yeah. It's been 9.5 for however long we've been waiting for this game.
Breaking news: Scott Bobby is breaking in his new smoker that he got for his birthday. He's breaking it in right now. We're not invited over for dinner, but
he's made this happen, so we gotta take it in.
That's why I'm shouting him out. Spatchcock smoked chicken on the smoker.
I call him out a little bit. His birthday was only 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute. That smoker has been living in 2 houses before it even got.
Already got a little rust on it.
Oh boy, don't bring up the 2 houses. His brain will start oozing out of his ear.
Shout out Scott Bobby. He's firing up that smoker tonight.
I think we're all in agreement. I'm sure that will be short-lived with the amount of games that are going on, and I'm sure we'll differentiate. I like Oregon 42, Washington 14.
Wow.
So take the Ducks.
Well,
not the points.
Big Dave in Erie, Pennsylvania will like that. Somehow he's a Ducks fan. I can't remember the correlation, but
we should be Ducks fans.
And we're saying winner is in.
Yes.
I think it has to be because you got 4 slots and somebody's got to take those slots and they got to have a reason why. And if Oregon wins, their only loss is to a number 3 ranked Washington team.
Yeah.
Then they avenge that loss. How can you keep them out from what they got?
Oh boy. So you're telling me that one loss is a good loss? My brain's already hurting.
Compare it to other people, which you're going to have to do.
Correct.
All right, moving on.
Very similar to Georgia Auburn. When they made it to the Natty, they got absolutely killed by Auburn and Jordan Hare and then beat them 28-17. I'm with it. Everybody's talking about it. Again, I'm just going to be the old man. Get off my lawn. Should be settled between the lines.
Okay,
in
remember
some respects-
remember you're saying that later because
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to disagree later at some point. So
Okay.
let's move on to the next game.
The noon game.
Noon
tomorrow.
game, Texas and Oklahoma State. Texas 15.5.
Yeah.
Over under is 55.
Oklahoma State's a Jekyll and Hyde team. It depends on who shows up.
And Sleazy just keeps pulling the thoughts right out of my left ear.
I'm
Mike
gonna get some
Gundy
more
is a
sweater vodka.
Mike Gundy is a man, and he's 40.
Hey, I can't wait to join him in the manhood.
Not long.
When is that?
Another
Birthday
month. Not
month.
even a month.
Birthday month. 17 days.
That's
I'm
it.
17 days.
Nobody's counting down.
Nope.
gonna take the rest of this
go
Arnold
ahead.
Palmer.
If any Venom's in play on your birthday, I'll be excusing
Come
myself
on.
from the situation. Shout out to
Gotta take a joke.
to
sometimes.
confident.
That's it,
I'm
man.
taking it. Shout out to confident Kyle for sending that question.
Oh,
Confident Kyle. I was
Confident
gonna
Kyle.
call him Tolerable Kyle, but we'll do Confident Kyle.
Oh, you skipped
That's fine.
the wrong.
He
Went from
did.
tolerable.
Oh.
Did he send in a question this
He
week?
didn't. That's
Oh, the one not the
Could
what?
have been a tease.
Oh
tolerable.
man. All right.
anyways,
Texas, Oklahoma
Texas.
State.
Texas.
So the interesting thing in this game is Texas has to win convincingly to have any gripe about being left out of the playoff,
You think?
depending on what else happens. Yeah, they got to win it. I think they got to win convincingly to have a gripe.
They got to have a good win.
They're going to have a gripe either way.
Man, that drives me crazy, man.
Sarkisian is he's gonna complain either way because he's kind of a whiner.
I don't think. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Maybe we're not going to disagree. I think.
Winning, they're in.
You think win?
Well, no. I think Alabama has to beat Georgia, and then I think Texas has a strong argument.
I think it depends on, and we're kind of jumping ahead. We can kind of talk about it in unison. It depends on
We are jumping around.
how strong the winds are for a hypothetical Alabama and Texas. I think it depends on that.
All right.
A
So
hypothetical Alabama.
Well, I don't think they're going to win, but
all right. All right. Michigan, Iowa. Do we all agree Michigan is going to beat?
I think,
Iowa.
all right, give me the over-under, the total number of points that are projected to be scored in that game.
35.5.
That is so funny.
Yeah. I know.
That's
In
the
comparison,
point total?
35.5 is the over-under.
For those listeners who don't understand that, Iowa is one of the most non-offensive teams
Yes.
in recent history, and their over-under means the total number of points that are projected to be scored combined by both teams. Iowa has set the recent record for lowest number of because their defense is really good. So
I'm
they don't
with
give
you.
up a lot of points, but they can't score.
So
They
on
keep
that
breaking
note,
records, or like the lowest over-unders.
so to play into that, the over-under, which he just explained, is 35.5. Michigan is 22.5 point favorite. So
Yeah, that got as high as 24 in a hook.
yeah.
I'm sorry. A hook is a half a point. Because that's how they keep you on the hook. I just made that up, but I love it.
Man,
Another
good
shirt.
slogan there.
Keep them on the hook.
Well, you got to kind of throw in a half because you can't if you leave it at 22 and they score 22 exactly.
So they can
Right.
take everybody's
Yeah,
money.
right.
That's
Yeah.
what
Well,
they
and
want to do.
some, again, I have placed 2 bets in my entire life. So take this with a grain of salt, but some casinos will let you buy the hook off of the points.
Yeah.
So again, the almighty dollar is what this is all about.
That's what it's all about.
Well, yeah, I could certainly see what I'm thinking. Maybe Michigan 24, Iowa 3, because Michigan has a good defense. I have talked
do.
a ton of crap about Michigan, and I stand by it. But their defense is good.
And I've talked a lot of crap about them too, and Ohio State. They both are good teams.
They're out.
I don't think they're elite teams.
No way Ohio State's getting in.
Man, they're out.
I can't think of a. So what are they?
They're sixth,
Okay, yeah. So
but there's no way they're hopping over. I mean, they have to
Oregon.
be,
Okay, so
Yeah, too many one-loss teams
Yeah.
for them to. They could be
because I think Texas will leapfrog them.
Yeah, if they
win.
because they have another win over
Mhm.
Ohio State's done playing
Yeah.
until their bowl game, and that won't factor into their ranking. So,
and
so we
just,
both think Michigan and Texas are going to win. Is that what we're saying?
just to be a contrarian,
That's your favorite
Georgia
type
could
of
all
bird.
correct. Georgia could also be a one-loss team that then you're going to add to the Longhorns.
Well, that's the next
and
game we're
the
gonna talk
Terps.
about.
Yeah. Let's
But
talk
I
about
just
it.
want to. Those aren't the marquee games, but Michigan should handle Iowa, and Texas I'm not saying they will. They've also been up and down, but
Yeah,
Oklahoma State shows up. They could give them a run for their money, but they're expected to win, and they have to have any argument.
For our
playoff.
talking points on this podcast right now, we're going to call it Texas.
We're going horns up.
Yes.
I didn't give a score prediction
did you hear
for
the
that one.
story in Stillwater?
Lay it on
Breaking
me,
news.
No.
Oh, hot take.
One of the fraternities, some of my favorite people in the world, frat guys. Love them. A lot of good stories we won't share at this moment about me and frat guys.
Fair enough, because I was just about to
There's got to be some beer bottles getting thrown at you or something.
Oh no!
Back in your Leo days.
A lot of interactions with some wonderful frat guys.
I could hear the facetiousness in your voice.
There was a fraternity in Stillwater that apparently had quite the night because there was a dead longhorn in their front yard.
Oh man!
With an expletive carved in the side of it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and its stomach cut out and removed.
Holy cow! That's a little much.
These guys, man.
Jesus.
Sometimes. Not all frat guys, we're not going to associate everybody, but some of these fraternities really start feeling themselves when they...
Whoa, easy. Shout out feeling themselves.
They feel each other and anything around them.
Oh,
Canceled.
Got a lot of proof. Anyways.
A lot of venom floating around in the houses.
In Stillwater is where Oklahoma State is settled at. They're playing the Texas Longhorns.
Did this Longhorn just happen to casually collapse in their yard?
Well,
or they killed it?
You could argue that, but then with the expletive carved in the side of it and the guts removed.
What was the expletive? You don't have...
I don't even know because
they wouldn't
PG article.
They wouldn't
PG article. But so, anyways, I was
left you hanging there.
Yeah,
breaking story.
I want to be at the scene of the crime now.
Oh well, man, that'd be
ask, what in the world are you thinking?
Well, send. They can consult with UGAPD on how to handle animal crimes.
Oh my God!
They arrested those kids for beating a
possum. Yeah, I know.
So they could consult, do some consulting.
I'm embarrassed.
Did y'all see I'm circling back to the beginning of the football season, but it was after they won the Natty that PETA sent a letter to the school about quit. They put in the letter, quit breeding, or not. They didn't say quit, but it was basically saying you need to cease breeding this deformed bloodline of a dog. And I was like, the letter that PETA sent was meaner than just having the dog sit on an ice pack in the sideline.
Well, in PETA's defense, it is a deformed breed of, like, the breathing is all messed up, and I had one before.
It's the worst. Just say it. I love Georgia. It is the worst live mascot maybe on the planet.
It's the best worst.
It's so bad that it's good.
Yeah,
it's just bad.
I had an English bulldog for several years. The life expectancy of these dogs is like 5 years. Of course, mine lived forever. It was like 10. It wouldn't go away. Constant medical problems.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And just not a good breed. You gotta clean them all the time. They get yeast everywhere.
Oh God!
In their folds on their face.
All right, moving on.
Constant.
If you want to talk to an English bulldog expert,
yes,
she lives in Winterville. She drives a Suburban with a broken screen. Soon to be fixed screen.
Well, where is your
Big Brain's favorite breed of dog is an English bulldog. Well, one they're like $72,000. My cousin in Massachusetts had one that tore his ACL. And I'm sure it wasn't doing Terry Tate office linebacker in the house. It just tore its ACL being a dog. So I'm saying that maybe this guy with the Fred Flintstone hands is the reason she's never had one. But she probably will have one.
But that's the best fan to be. One that doesn't own one and just admires them from afar. Because from a previous owner perspective.
Speaking of expletives, Big Finch can tell you, I cannot stand this because you've got some 84-year-old man that hangs on every note of the bugler before the game. It's 104 degrees in the shade. This man is having a heart attack while the team's running out on the field, falling out. GBI's got to rush in, shout out to the GBI, and save this man's life. And then this stupid dog is sitting in a doghouse on a bag of ice with a window air unit.
That's right.
While the rest of the world is dying watching the football team.
Some would say
that is ridiculous.
Maybe short on breathing apparatus, but smart on brains. Or big on brains. Big
man.
brain.
Big brain. Yeah. I don't. Get rid of the mascot. Just put a picture of him on your face.
They got enough money to take care of it and have somebody to wipe its folds. Okay, so it's cool to look at. Don't own one.
That's gonna be my next career.
That's my takeaway for this podcast
Bulldog
episode.
fold wiper.
Yeah, if Did You Hear Me doesn't go off, I'm gonna be the.
You better start practicing.
The backside wiper for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yep, there's a lot of that too. Man, I took a hard lift there.
Where are we?
Sorry, I hijacked that, but I've been trying to say that since our first podcast. Get the dog off of the damn ice and let him be out there like a dog.
Segue to the game.
Florida State, Louisville. Hang on.
Or we skipped Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah.
I think he's saving the best for last.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right,
that's
go ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Florida State, Louisville. Florida State, 1.5.
Their backup quarterback is questionable
Yeah, he's.
for tomorrow. Still suffering from a little concussion.
Thank you, computer nerd Nick told me that today.
That's
Tate
right.
Rodemaker.
Yep, and that's the
Rudemaker, Garden Hose, or whatever his name.
Rodemaker.
It reminds me of Rookie of the Year when he's trying to call him out of
So
the
that would
dugout.
make Florida State down to their third string quarterback. Louisville can put up points. They didn't play well last week against Kentucky, but they put up points. So
38,
that'll be
38.
interesting. I think Florida State's in trouble. All signs point to a loss, unfortunately. Although I do, for personal reasons, want them to win.
Yeah, so we can get CNN on here.
Get him fired up.
Oh, could be number 1 versus number 4 in this hypothetical world that we live in.
So I think that's almost a pick. Well, by the spread, it's basically a pick 'em game.
Yeah, it really is.
They don't really know who's going to win.
That's in Charlotte, and you are correct. The Kentucky Wildcats, shout out to the basketball school, won 38-31 against Louisville.
Louisville.
So Florida State's got to win to have any chance to get in the playoff.
I don't. To me, Florida State's.
I mean,
like
if they win, they're undefeated conference champion. I mean, they're in. I don't care if they're.
I would argue for them to be in, but I wouldn't say they're in.
Got
Wouldn't
to.
say it.
You got to. Got to. Here we go.
Wouldn't say
Here
it.
we go. I just
man.
cannot put somebody.
The plot thickens.
It does. With a loss over somebody that has no losses.
I
I
agree with
agree
that.
with you, but I think there's an argument to be made. If
I don't.
They keep floating out this, depending on what side of the fence the sheriff's on and what argument. There's
Whoa. I feel like I've been very consistent.
well,
The zero needs to be in the loss column.
Yeah, but there's going to be people that argue this. Who's the better team, and they kind of throw the records out.
The one that hasn't lost.
I agree. I'm just giving you the other side.
Yeah.
of it.
No, I get it. I get it. And, but
You're
and if
being
they
a contrarian.
if they go out there with a third string quarterback and win their conference championship tonight or tomorrow, I mean,
What argument? What else could they have done?
What else could they have done?
Is
There's
his name
nothing else.
Cardell Jones?
Yeah, but I think
Does he got any eligibility left?
Yeah. Who is the third string quarterback?
couldn't tell you. Have to call CNN. I'm sure he knows, but
He didn't know. He just said that it was suspicious that Rodemaker came back when he couldn't walk a straight line.
oh, agreed. But they do that all the time, depending on
Yeah, it
where
happened
the
in
game is at.
It happened in the Iron Bowl too.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Clemson, South Carolina. Excuse me. Sorry, CNN. I told you wrong. That guy was like waddling back to the huddle, and they left him out there.
Number 4, Florida State might have to turn to third string quarterback Brock Glenn.
Strong name, Brock.
Yeah,
Glenn.
Brock. With a name like Brock.
No, I'm not buying it because he's got the allotted amount of tendons. No chance.
How do you know? We hadn't even seen. Let's see.
Brock Glenn, really?
Yeah.
Might be Hawaiian.
That's like saying Jim Bob Stubbe is a black guy. Come on.
You're
Shout
right.
out to Jim Bob for serving our country.
All right. So
Sorry, I was profiling there, but I ended up being right.
So
Go ahead.
no,
But we
hypothetical.
circled all the way back around.
I do agree with Pat. I'm not buying Florida State on the eye test because they're kind of like, to me, as unpredictable as Auburn. They've just got lucky to win.
Yes,
And-
but if they win, they're in.
This is the expression, I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah.
So the way y'all are talking, then that circles back to the game of the weekend.
Right.
So the loser of that game's out. from how y'all just set everything up. We just set everything up.
I'm loving it because you could have 3 undefeateds, right? Washington, you could. I'm quack. Been that way all year, even though Lee's telling me I'm a blatant, soulless ginger hypocrite. Anyway,
anyways,
Washington wins, they're undefeated. They're in. Michigan's in, they're undefeated. Florida State's in, they're undefeated. And if Georgia wins, there you go. The committee would be loving that.
But for our arguments, so I've already said earlier in the podcast, I'm on record saying I think Georgia's going to win. I think Georgia's going to win handedly. Mm-hmm. But for argument's sake.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's that time of year.
This is literally what everyone's talking about.
So, they lose. Georgia loses. Okay? Mm-hmm. Texas wins theirs. Who's in?
That's the scenario they're talking about, where the SEC does not get in.
Not have a representative.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
As much as that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
I think there's an argument for it. I don't think it's right.
Why not?
Well, I don't think it's right either.
Why not?
I think...
Go ahead, Sleazy.
So
you're trapped in between 2 people that are on the same sheet of music right now.
I think when you lose matters some. So you make it all the way.
Starting to sound like me.
And I'm gonna go ahead and take up for Alabama.
Well, then why do we play a regular season if those games don't matter?
Good question. Good question.
It's a whole thing to look at.
It's a body of work, is what that foolish committee said.
I'm gonna take up for Alabama.
Take up for them.
Because they're not gonna win. But if they were to win in this mythical world that we're in,
right. Again, we're on record. Georgia's gonna win. Georgia's probably gonna win.
This is gonna play well Sunday, hopefully.
Well, I got a bet against Georgia, of course, but my heart is where y'all are at.
So, Alabama was a mess at the beginning of the year.
Mess.
They did not look like they were clicking on offense. The quarterback looked like he didn't know how to throw the ball. He was a running back there. They just didn't look on the offensive side of the ball, even kind of defensively. They just didn't have it all together, and that's understandable with how college football is. You have a new crop of players coming in every year, especially at these big universities, or the good universities that we've talked about in previous episodes, where you're losing people to the draft. You're not having 6-year seniors, leading your defense. You're having 3rd-year juniors who may have only started a year before.
Right.
So, and Georgia had the cupcake schedule at the beginning to get their affairs in order.
That's fake news too.
They had to get their affairs in order. They're a good team, and I'm not defending their schedule. There's no way you can convince me otherwise. In September. Since then, anyways, getting off my point. Alabama's not the same team that played Texas back then. It does matter that Texas won, but I think you look at everything, Texas really hadn't played as well these past few weeks, in my opinion. I've watched them.
Okay,
that's my argument.
And my question to you would be, and I'm sure Pack's about to ask the same thing, why the committee, like I said, and I'm a huge fan of his music, but I don't think Ray Charles is on the committee. They can see the game. Why have they not moved Bama? That's that's the most telling thing to me. Is the whole world seeing that it's a better team. I think Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, has done wonders. Obviously, Saban is a magician, and I love him and hate him at the same time, but they've kept him at 8.
Yeah, that's right. If you look at the rankings currently, as they stand right now, Texas is above Alabama. So all things equal, Texas wins, Alabama wins. What changes that? Because Alabama beat Georgia.
Correct.
But then Texas beat the team that beat Georgia.
You would have to put them both in.
I think the committee is just saying their prayers that things work out.
I think they're doing more than saying their prayers. Wink, wink.
Yeah, 4 undefeateds make it easy.
Making some calls to the zebras.
The fix is in, buddy. You can say what you want. There's a lot of traction. The NFL is rigged. There's too much money in this stuff.
Scripted.
There is too much money in this stuff for everyone to just be kumbaya, wholesome. Let's play for the love of the game. And I'm not saying college is there yet, but it's going that way.
Yeah. So we hope Georgia wins, makes everything simple for us. If not, I really don't think they're going to be in. To kind of put a cap on this.
Yeah,
because we can talk about it. I love talking about it, and this is why we do the podcast, because this is what we talk about when we're not on air.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Right.
But
yeah, I
and
agree.
I'm going to die of a myocardial infarction because this is ridiculous.
I agree.
Let them play.
Let them play.
We're going to. We're going to let them play tonight and tomorrow.
But then who,
And then
whatever.
This whole episode will be meaningless.
The Chanticleers at 11 will be showing their you-know-whats because they didn't get in and they beat so-and-so that's now the number one team in the country. Like I said, it's the committee of a bunch of people in a room. I don't care if they're all 17 years old or they're all 100. Obviously, some of these people do have football knowledge.
Condoleezza Rice, she's still on the committee?
There's no way for them to account for the development of a team.
Yeah. Okay.
And Alabama, as much as I hate them, has gotten no credit for becoming a better team.
I just gave them credit.
Well, in the committee vote,
nobody?
sorry.
Oh, in the committee.
If you had a committee vote,
I definitely don't.
I'd be sitting there asking you how the fix is in.
Yeah, and they can get better all they want, but when it mattered was on the field, and they lost.
Well, and
Texas.
I agree with that too. Here I am talking out of both sides of my mouth that the beauty of college football is that you live and die with every game of the regular season.
Right, and that's the whole point of college.
Correct.
That's where it differs from the NFL.
And we're going to lose that next year. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to have...
It doesn't matter
again,
next year.
One of these big schools, to use your term, Lee, is going to have 2 losses, and they're going to probably be egregious losses that they shouldn't have lost and get in. And I will raise my hand, it might be the Georgia Bulldogs.
Could be.
So, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So, Georgia, Alabama, right? So that's pretty much not the only game that matters, but in terms of college football playoff, that's really the one that would create the chaos.
The most chaos. As if Alabama won, but
because I think we all agree, Oregon, Washington, it doesn't matter. One of them, the winner of that is going in, and then if Florida State, Michigan lose, it's easy that they're out, way out.
But again, if ifs and nuts are
whatever, yeah, we got it.
If Texas loses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Alabama beats Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
1,000% they're in.
That's easy.
Yeah. I agree.
But that is the Longhorns are their roadblock, and the committee has showed that. And I think
for the way it's set up, you're correct.
I will shout out McScuse. He is very much a biased opinion, and he would admit it. Huge Bama fan has admitted Texas is in our way, and he said that. Yeah. As soon as the team started getting better, I will give him credit for identifying we have this team in our way and it's our own fault, I guess is what you could say. They lost.
Anyway, Texas gets in with a Georgia win?
It depends on...
I guess if everybody else loses, Michigan...
It's going to be hard for them.
State.
Yeah. If Florida State lost and... I don't know. It'd be tough for them.
Right, because Washington and Oregon are both not getting in. Right? They're not going to both get in.
Washington and Oregon? No, it's one or the other.
So,
one or the other.
Ohio State's not going to get in.
No. I don't think there's any way.
Yeah, I agree. So, Florida State loses. They're out.
I think Lee's right. Texas would have to beat Oklahoma State like shocking your conscience.
Mm-hmm.
Like 63-0. Because what are they playing? You'd have to scroll down, but Oklahoma State's in the 20s.
Yeah, like I said, Oklahoma State is Jekyll and Hyde. They can come out to play, then they can not show
18.
up.
They're 18.
But who knows? Sarkisian for Texas, maybe on that Tito's again, and maybe out there just throwing Hail Marys, running that score up.
All right. I know I'm beating this.
That's it.
Hypothetical.
I could talk about it all night, but we won't because I want to
talk
about
it. But
we've wasted the
silliness. No silliness. You know what's going to happen. The committee is going to fix it so that all the undefeateds win and they can sit back. Speaking of Tito's, they can sit back and drink their Tito's.
I want Georgia to win. I think Georgia will win, but there's a part of me that hopes for chaos just to see
what happens.
See how our hypotheticals play out.
We had that chance last weekend for championship weekend. We had a lot of chaos that could have happened, but it didn't. Anyways, I want to move on to something else.
Contrarian. I am a contrarian, so I like the chaos and the conflict.
But I want to move on to something else because I know PackMan's going to be fired up about it. I alluded to it earlier.
I know where this is going.
Aaron Rodgers.
77
Stupid.
days.
Tim Rodgers.
Oh my God.
He signs with the Jets, leaves PackMan's beloved Packers.
Yep.
And
Went
you said
to a
good riddance.
seance. Went to a seance, all dark seance.
Oh my God. It's such a
Found his
weirdo.
soul.
It's a darkness retreat. Why are you trying to make this guy a Satan worshiper?
Yeah, whatever. He had the Ouija board, I'm sure.
He did. He ended up with the Jets. 4 plays into his career with the Jets. He tears his his Achilles, which is even worse.
Allegedly.
Oh,
Which
I
is
like it. I like
Which is
it.
a devastating injury for those you don't know. It's one of my biggest fears. Shout out to Swola Valley.
Swola Valley. I told Swola Valley, I said, man, Aaron Rodgers back on the practice field. Where you at?
That
What are you
man.
doing here behind this desk?
Half of man is
Or our man,
darkness. Aaron Rodgers.
or our man K. Wayne with it that tore it or partially tore it and still had 4 hits at Julius F. Bishop Park.
That's right. But it's a significant injury, especially the
Kirk
older that you
Cousins?
get. Yeah, Kirk Cousins tore his this year. It's like a year timetable normally. How many days?
Whatever.
It has
Go
been
ahead.
11 weeks.
11 weeks.
77 days.
This
and
man,
he's on the practice field.
and
And
this
I will-
man who does alternative medicine.
I will add a caveat to that, Lee. Sorry to interrupt you. He's activated, therefore I don't think he has to play.
But he's eligible.
He has to be on the active
On the
roster
roster.
within 3 weeks.
Yes.
So the reason I want to talk about it is because that's unheard of. To come back from an Achilles tear, or it ripped apparently, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But this man, he goes through alternative. He went out to probably some reservation
Oh my
somewhere.
God,
He
dude.
did.
Don't
He-
Smoked some peyote.
smokes, some peyote and some what? Ayahuasca. Say it for me.
I like the way you say it.
I like the way I say
Sounds
it too,
real
'cause
southern.
It's stupid. It's stupid, just
I
like
believe the correct pronunciation is ayahuasca.
Whatever.
Or some
Ayahuasca.
folks may refer to it as DMT.
Well,
Whatever.
he broke every record, and he's eligible to play, and he's practicing.
For what?
Well, I
For
agree.
what?
The Jets are they even mathematically
They maybe
able to make the playoffs?
I don't know. Maybe they are, but they're not making the playoffs. That team sucks. It probably wasn't going to be that good with Aaron Rodgers anyway. Let's just be honest with you. They
got
brought
a
in
good defense.
They brought in.
The fabulous defense.
They got a good defense. They brought in Alan Lazard,
The Tito is kicking in.
former Packer. You know where he is? Healthy scratch because he sucks. They brought in, you know who their backup is? That's backing up Zach Wilson, a former Packers third. Anyway, point is, team sucks.
Pat's fired up.
Yeah, and they are not making the playoffs. He is so narcissistic that he just wants to be out there to say, I tore my Achilles, allegedly, and I'm back out on the practice field in 77 days. I'm back playing a game faster than anybody's ever done it because I'm Aaron Rodgers and I went into the dark. I don't know if he even tore his Achilles. I wouldn't be surprised if they came back and said, this was a ploy so that the Jets didn't have to give the Packers a first-round draft pick because the draft pick that the Packers were supposed to get was based off playing time. Rodgers played 65% of the snaps.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
They got a first-rounder. Now all of a sudden he tears his Achilles and.
So you're saying that?
Well,
30,
I'm saying
30,
that. I'm saying that this whole thing is stupid. Aaron Rodgers is stupid.
Whoa.
The Jets are stupid. I've been here before.
I like the guy.
Brett Favre. So, whatever.
Get it
Anyway,
off your chest, Pat.
Go ahead.
Get it
Sleezy,
off your
you had a
chest.
question.
There's nothing left to add. You just went off on a rant.
The only thing he
an
hasn't
epic
done
rant.
was sent a picture like Brett Favre did when he was there.
But you're saying this is a long play
He stole some
to
welfare,
stick it
allegedly.
to stick it to the Packers.
Allegedly.
He's gonna basically wash this year. Just tell the Packers you can't have a good draft pick because
It's
I'm Aaron
possible.
Rodgers.
Yep.
And I didn't tear my Achilles.
Yep. I'm that much of a douche that I want to be
I was
in
about to
control.
fail a drug test for mushrooms.
Probably. Yep.
I don't even know what they test for that.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. We're making this conspiracy as big as we can.
Probably. You heard it here first. Remember, when this comes out, remember, you heard it on Did You Hear Me
He
before
didn't
you
do
heard it anywhere else.
Yeah, you
I'm
got me
all
so
about
flustered.
it.
I just lost a contact in my eye. I can't find it. Gosh. Y'all go ahead.
Pack's rant doesn't blow the contact
Yeah,
off
that's
your
right.
eyeball.
Yeah, no, but so let's pretend for a minute that he really did tear his Achilles as bad as You know, they're
I
trying
saw
to
the
put
video and something moved, but again,
that's fine.
It was staged.
That's
yeah,
fine.
if 2020 taught us anything,
That's fine. So
who knows?
okay, he tore his Achilles, real bad injury, whatever. We saw his calf reverberating or whatever in the replay, whatever.
Correct.
So why come back? Like, why risk that to come back? The only reason you do that is because you have this feeling inside yourself that I just want to prove to people, like, and there is no point to coming back. Why? Just
Yeah, he's alluded to that. I'm sure if we got any of our listeners that love the sports ball, he goes on the Pat McAfee show, shout out every Tuesday. And I think
$4 million. He doesn't do it because he's a nice guy and he's trying to help out his friend's podcast. He's doing it for money. I mean, come
he
on.
can come on our show, but we
He
don't
would.
have $4 million. What does Flo got for us?
We don't have $4.
We got to find the contact. Anyway, yes, he is a very rich man, but I think he loves football.
Let's don't be hard on him. He
That's
doesn't have
the-
any family support either.
Right, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
true.
Well, but that's by his own.
Yeah.
That's his
I'm just
own
throwing-
choosing.
I'm
Maybe
throwing
not his
fuel on
own
the
doing.
fire.
I'm just telling you.
trying to throw fuel on the
look,
fire.
look.
I've never seen Pack so fired up. I wanted to use his government name there to give him
It's
his
okay.
due.
You can.
I've never
Look,
seen Sean this fired up.
Yeah, I just don't. Even if I were a Jets fan or if he were back on the Packers, I would feel like, why are you coming back and risking?
Right. What's the rush?
What is the rush? We're not in playoff contention. It's dumb. It's stupid. Just call this season a wash. Come back ready next year, and don't bring all your washed up friends to the team because it doesn't help anything. Randall Cobb, I like Randall Cobb. I like him still. I liked him when he was a Packer, but I'm sorry, he's old and washed up. Like, it is what
Well,
it is.
Alan Lazard was there. He did bring a cast of characters with him. They are all, I think people can respect, including you. They're all football dudes. And I'm sure that's why he sits down with Pat McAfee is, yes, it is more time in the limelight.
Yep.
It's not like he's coming to Did You Hear Me? And,
Hey,
but we're going to get there. Hey, we're going to get there.
Yep.
Pat McAfee, beware, we're coming. But, pause. Sorry,
I don't know if anybody knows the pause.
My mind went to the gutter.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows the pause trick.
Yeah, I totally agree with the narcissism. I just think the guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He knows
Agreed.
a ton about football.
I agree with all of that.
And
All of
and
that
he
is
wants
true.
to come back because he wants to be in the limelight and he wants to be the quickest. He has basically said that without saying it.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
So, anyway.
I need to make a quick apology. Tolerable Kyle is Confident Kyle because he did send a question. It got mixed in with all the others.
Okay, all right. Confident Kyle.
And
Tolerable
we're gonna-
Kyle. I
and-
like that too.
And because of that, we're going to go with his question first.
All right.
And
Is
hopefully get
Can you see
Pat's
it?
blood
Can you
pressure
read
down.
Yeah, get it down. Get
The
it down.
contact is lost in my skull. I don't know where. It's in my
Oh,
eye
man.
somewhere, but I
it?
can't
You're
find
gonna
it.
have to do a darkness retreat to
I
find
have
it.
to. We've talked about this before. You and I have, Pat. First and goal at the 10-yard line, which I think is too far for this question. But can you score in 4 rushing attempts against an NFL team?
Oh, man.
From Confident Kyle.
From the 10-yard line?
I think that's
yeah.
too. Let's move
Yeah, I
that
was
to the
gonna say.
3-yard line.
I was going to say, we've had similar conversations
10?
about
No,
this.
I think none of us from the 10.
No, no
so let's
way.
move it to the 3-yard line.
I am a large human, but I am so slow. Those dudes could probably catch me running backwards. And let's just say what it is. Like maybe 65% of the league
Pause.
would be operating on
An extra
more
10?
tendons than I. So,
Well,
and I think I'm lowballing it at 65.
what line do I have blocking for me? It doesn't matter. I'm not making it. There's no way.
No.
I would
Yeah, it
rather.
depends.
I would rather it be like it would just be me and like Micah Parsons and Brian Urlacher or something, like just absolute freak shows and me, and just see from the 1-yard line. No line, nothing. Just mano a mano.
No way, you're not getting
Man, I am concerned for your safety.
It's gone.
For-
Help us, special agent. He's
Yeah, I don't know.
got plastic in his head.
The 10-yard line, no, none of us are
No.
getting in. Maybe first and goal from the 1 if I line up at quarterback, Philly Eagle style and do the tush push
The
4 times.
Pause. We can't be pushing that tush too much.
For those that don't know, that's quarterback sneak. And
I guess if we want to
Tell
be
'em.
appropriate for the adolescents, the brotherly shove.
the brotherly shove, yeah. It's quarterback sneak, and they get behind Jalen Hurts and push him in.
It's like a
Try to
rugby
move-
play,
Yes,
basically.
essentially. Maybe 4 attempts at the brotherly shove, tush push.
Right.
I think we get a yard, but that's not because of anything of
Right.
my doing.
That's why I'm saying I don't know if you really want to go with a line because I don't. Like I said, the Eagles is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think. I think Big Brain's grandfather might be able to get a half a yard behind that offensive line because
but
they're
from the-
transcendent.
From the 3-yard line, everybody knows you're running. There's no spread. There's no way either one of us. I'm going to go ahead and just tell
No,
you.
I'm
None of us are making it from the 3-yard line.
So we've had this debate in the office before. So you get your starting quarterback for your team for the whole game. Do you
Okay.
think you could average 20 yards? Do you think you could get 20 positive yards whole game
in the NFL.
in the NFL?
No chance.
Yeah, I don't think so, because you got to think you'll get some positive yardage. You might break one off for 4 or 5 yards, but I mean you're
I'm
going to
gonna go
lose.
ahead
Break one off.
Break
I
one
mean,
off.
breaking one off to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. So
There are some quote unquote bad quarterbacks in the NFL, and they are amazing athletes, and they can't move the ball.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say.
There's no way my noodle arm is
Yeah.
doing anything positive, and the contact is back in place.
Yeah, you look. That's just like some quick creek coming
Wait.
out of your eye there for a minute,
Wait,
but you look great.
segue.
Yeah.
Speaking of noodle arms and throwing footballs and quarterbacks,
Yes.
oh man,
Yeah.
the sheriff and I were
We were scheming on you, Sleezy.
we were sitting in CNN's office earlier today, actually, and this conversation came up about as we probably mentioned before, maybe not, but we all play on the rec league softball
Absolutely.
team.
For the Leos.
That's right. Shout out King. He was one of the guests on here. He plays. Well, CNN said, man, I got some other people to play. This one guy's got an arm that dwarfs the King's arm.
Whoa.
Yeah. He said he was a high school quarterback. He's got a cannon on him. I said, more so than the King? He said, oh, yeah. Way better than the King. So, King,
Man,
I think we found our next challenge. I don't know. I don't know if we need to get a football or throw a softball or what.
Do
but,
both.
Yeah. Apparently, you've got there's a high school quarterback working for us, former high school quarterback working for us. That's got a cannon that can outthrow you any
Man.
day of the week, according to CNN.
We got to
So,
set that up.
We don't want to put any pressure on them, just like some of our guests that are highly esteemed and work more important jobs than us. But this man has a solid mustache,
That's right.
and his name he's not Scott Bobby, but he is Bobby.
He's a Bobby.
Okay.
But we'll leave it that that
set that
vague. But I'm with Sleezy. You can do one or the other, or you can do both. There's
Let's
not
see
a
it.
bad answer
I
there.
don't see it. Put it to the test.
I have seen Hunter throw a softball. His arm is impressive.
He's got a
I've
cannon.
never seen him throw a football.
I saw
I'm
him
sorry,
throw-
the King, Hunter.
and I'll have to get the video. Maybe I can get it on the Did
From
You Hear Me
From
podcast.
Slick-headed Ronald Mills.
No. So
Shout out.
King thought he could replicate the Tua Tagliafico, whatever his name is, pass from.
Yeah.
Say it.
2nd and 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tua Tungavailoa.
That's
out
not
to the
it either.
stat
There's
guy.
no way.
Yes,
But
pull it up.
I think it's pretty
okay,
close.
enough. Closer than me.
I
I'll give
had
you
to
that.
I had to practice that one.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out to me.
anyway, long story short, replicate the throw that Tua did in the national championship, was it not?
yeah.
I
It
don't
was.
want to start crying just
Yeah.
thinking about it.
When Alabama beat Georgia and
2nd and 26
Yep.
in the bends.
yep. So anyway, there's a video of him trying to replicate that throw,
We have got to find that.
and it's on a side by side with a clock Yeah. Well, I have to get this.
This must have been put together by a conspiracy theorist, Ricky.
That's it.
Yep.
Yep. Alien.
Oh, he knows.
Alien lover Ricky's got this video, so I'm about to get it from him, and we'll show it to the people.
We got to ask extraterrestrial Rick if Aaron Rodgers really tore his Achilles. I think.
Yeah, that's an off-season guest because we could go a lot of different ways.
Oh.
I've never heard him say more than about 4 words, so
We'll get him started for you.
Yeah, we'll get some White Claws in him.
well, we have to pull his man card too.
But this kind of segues into
Okay.
big game, James. Booty meat.
Booty
Booty
me.
meat.
His question of the week. If we could have anybody on this podcast because they're clamoring to get on, alive or dead, so we could even go to the spirit world. Who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. Alive or dead?
We
Yeah,
got
anybody.
We got to whittle that down.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, silence here. From everybody.
Yeah, I
you
don't
threw me
know.
off with
Yeah.
the jet people.
yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people I would have on just for fanboy. I'd have King Griffey Jr. on just because I want to hang out with him.
Well, he's alive.
I guess.
As is Bob Vila. I don't.
From the sports world, I had him on. From the historical world, probably because they had the movie coming out. Like, if I understood French, Napoleon would be interesting.
Yeah, that
just
looks
any
good.
of those people that did stuff that you still know who they are hundreds of years ago. Any of those would be interesting to talk to.
Man, you're getting deep with it.
Yeah,
Joaquin, Joaquin Phoenix stars. That does look pretty good. I think that's a Ridley Scott movie. Shout out. He's he's the director of Gladiator and Captain Phillips and
even though I'll get us canceled because the guy who said it, I can't remember who said it was a sports athlete said they would have to have dinner with Hitler. Who was that? They got bashed for it.
You think?
Well, it's not because you think he was right. It's because you want to know what his mindset
His
was.
thought process and like how. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I'll talk to anybody.
You will, but I don't even know if I want to touch this.
Well, like I said, if we ain't got canceled yet, I don't know.
Well, I think this is where Pack was going as far as like consistent messaging and like looking at leadership, not in a good way, because I think of course leadership has a positive connotation to it. I've been told that I may not have leadership skills or they're poor.
All right, don't go down that rabbit hole. Go ahead.
No, I'm just alluding to that one. And that probably is correct to some extent as the court jester. But anyway, looking from a negative leadership of convincing people and kind of programming them, I can see what you're saying there.
Yeah. So
but then what are you going to speak German or?
Well, that's
a whole
like
other
I said,
thing.
That comes into a whole other thing. We're in the fantasy world, so I speak.
Yeah, I want to go all the way into it.
So I would talk to anybody. I don't know why this brought to mind. When I was out in the world, I love talking to people who are borderline. Some people may say crazy. I like talking to them because I just wanted to hear what they had to say. R.I.P. to Patricia Parks, who passed away from.
R.I.P.
If you listen to an earlier episode,
She got mentioned. Yeah.
who had carnal knowledge of PackMan.
we can't call it carnal knowledge.
Whoa.
She bit him.
Straight out of the Georgia. That is not carnal knowledge.
I know.
If anybody wants to look at the Georgia Annotated Code of Laws.
But I talked to her all the time, and she was a drug addict who had a lot of problems going on. But she had interesting things to say. Didn't agree with a lot of them. We had a lot of weird conversations throughout the year, but there's people like that I would talk to all the time.
You can talk to anybody, which is why you're so full of you-know-what to say.
That's why you're so good at this.
Yeah, you failed at your wife's career. That's bull crap.
Anyway.
But, this guy ends up at an all-black gender reveal in Biloxi, Mississippi with a bunch of Dallas Cowboy fans. And then he brought me back over to the restaurant after he had wandered for 4 hours. We probably should have called the police.
It was a boy.
He knew the gender of the kid. These people flagged him down. And when I mean the group, the family, that's what I mean when I say that the group of the family flagged Lee down. Sorry, Pack. I knew you were going to take that one. I was just waiting. But they hugged Lee. Sleezy.
Yeah.
Whatever we're calling you at this
We
point.
shared a moment. When that blue confetti came out,
And
it was magic.
You wonder so bad that I was concerned because this was one of my first outings in the fishbowl, but no one else was concerned. They said, "Oh, he'll be back." Even Stinky Butt said he'll be back.
Came back with
Dirty
friends.
Butt, Stinky Butt.
Stink butt.
Anyways.
Yeah. What?
And it wasn't, I don't know if our listeners caught it, this beautiful family, and it was a beautiful family, even though they're Cowboys fans, it is a boy.
It is.
Or it is a
was
boy at this point.
It's born by now.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's still alive, right? Is. I think we need to go with is. Need to check with the midwives.
So-
Is.
So just to sum up that question, we would talk to anybody. Historical.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a name?
Jesus.
That's a great one. It's a
Yeah.
great one because I got a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Shout out to Quiet Kyle on the excuse on that one.
Yeah.
Jesus is awesome.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If I can pick anybody in the history
That's a
of
good
ever, I guess that'd be my pick.
I was going to say Ted Williams. Which he may
You're
come
gonna
back to
follow
life.
Jesus with Ted Williams.
Oh, I am from Boston. He is a deity.
All right.
Or
ill-timed,
would
but-
you talk to, like, I would want to talk to like an old school coach like Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, there's a lot of different directions to go with that.
Yeah.
I think we kind of already alluded to that. If there's a sports,
Paul Bear Bryant.
yeah, if there's a sports angle or just a historic angle or a current, there's too many people. I
Yeah,
want
you
to
gotta-
talk to everybody.
Yeah, you got to qualify that.
We've been digging up graves everywhere.
Yeah,
Just
I
talking to
want
everybody.
I want to talk to an old crusty crab that's going to tell me America is full of a bunch of wusses is what I want to hear.
I got
And tell me about the good old
I got plenty
days.
of family I could bring. Let's just go ahead and get you.
You're like that a little bit with the don't celebrate and
Perfect timing for the next question. Perfect timing.
It's from CNN.
It is.
Okay, I know.
Actually, I want to save that for last. Let me go ahead to Jet,
I
aka
had a
Ace.
tease out there.
Half of the Granite City Gamblers. He had a complex question. We went back and forth for about, 8 back and forth trying to get this question fleshed out. So basically, you and your, and this is a very troubled question because a lot of trouble can be had from this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you and your extended family are on a deserted island, and there's room for everybody to get home except for one person. But yeah, and they're gonna live. They're gonna be fine. There's coconuts, stuff like that on the island. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna live a fine life, but
Okay, so they're not dying.
they're not dying. There's no ill fate. They just gotta live on this island.
Can I just stay on the island by myself?
But where,
That's what I said to Jet. I was like, this sounds like a perfect situation. It's quiet, and he
Yeah.
said, you don't want to see your kids again. He put heartstrings on me.
Man, come on.
you already live in a somewhat quiet world, though.
What?
Anyways.
Unless we're up here in the boom boom room.
But what family member are you leaving behind? And I said, how extended can this family be? Because I only have 2 kids, and I don't want one of them mad at me. So he said it could be extended family. He didn't want to cause any divorces or anything like that. So I'm sure there's a cousin out there I could throw on the island to sacrifice for the.
Yeah, I don't
for the
think they're gonna
immediate
make
family.
it. Yeah, I think he's inferring they're gonna die on this island.
He
if you leave
specifically
them.
said they're going to be fine. You just never see them again because you don't have directions to get back.
I don't know if I want to answer this question.
That's dangerous. Very dangerous.
But we have to. Is that a rule? We have to.
I
Is
mean,
this
you
like
gotta
Wedding Crashers? No excuses. Play like a champion. We have to answer the question.
I think the fault with his question is he gave too many outs because we all have a cousin somewhere that we just
Yeah, I was gonna
they're
say,
related.
I've got, yes, on my grandfather's side, I've got some cousins that have, stolen from me
I'm sure what
in the past. So,
stole from you.
Hey, listen. We know what Pat's trying to do. He's
So,
just trying to
Is
survive.
Wedding Fred somehow related? You just leave him?
I would,
if that's an option,
there you go.
just leave Wedding
Yeah,
Fred.
you need to leave Wedding Fred on the island.
Simple.
You need to leave Wedding Fred on the island without any coconuts.
Yeah, that's it.
That guy.
So,
I don't even know the man. I'm mad.
Hey,
He's not much of a man to be doing all that crap.
well, it's a dangerous question. I think he gave.
I gotta answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
answer it.
it.
Yeah, I would. I don't know, man. I'm kind of proud of the Turner name. R.I.P. But I did have an uncle that had been to the jailhouse a bunch. Did struggle with substance abuse. I loved him. because he was very comical, and used to call me Chris Mullen when we were playing basketball. I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm not leaving him on the island. I'm just saying I think he's our only family member that went to jail. Unless my dad went to jail for marijuana possession and never told me. Because he does like my dad did like the left-handed cigarettes. But I'm with you, Lee. There's got to be someone that I'm related to that I don't know that I would probably leave them on the island and not even know it because I don't know them right now.
All that big long story.
To agree with Lee, yes.
Okay. Shout out to
Welcome
Uncle.
to Talking Meat.
Way to work
Circuitous paths.
So we're going to leave. Thank you for the question, Jet. We're going to leave it.
Are we leaving?
So to sum up this episode, because we've got to get the sheriff back out to Scott Bobby.
I'm still ready to deploy.
The last question from CNN, and this is piggybacks off the question that you detested last week, that you didn't even want to answer.
I already know how you're going to feel
This
about
is the
it.
walk-up song.
Yep. So after your walk-up song, this is in the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, and you come up to score the winning or drive in the winning run. You hit a no doubt walk-off home run.
No doubt.
No doubt.
So what style bat flip
So you bat flipping?
do you do, and how long does it take you to round the bases?
I am about to walk off the set of this boom.
You're really going to be mad when you hear my answer, boy.
Come on, Pack.
Oh my God, that bat flip is going so high. I'm tossing that thing. I am banging my chest. It is going to take me probably 25, 30 minutes to get around the bases as I'm pointing.
25, 30 minutes?
Are you kissing to the crowd?
I'm blowing kisses. I'm pointing. I'm pointing up to the sky, shouting out whoever's up there. So look.
Is Doc Holliday like streaking onto the field?
I'll tell you that you're giving me a little more credit. That didn't take 25 or 30 minutes.
The knees are quivering though.
So,
well, that's part of the 25, 30 minutes.
All right. So look, a lot of times people say, act like you've been there before. You hit a home run. Act like. I played Little League.
Me?
I played Little League. I played softball. I've never hit a home run. Not one time. So I don't know how to act, and I am going. Actually, one of the last games of the year, I hit one to the fence or something, and
You did.
I
Single.
strutted to first base.
You did also touch all 4 bases on a ball that you put into fair play. That was like a Little League home run, and you were pretty stoked about that too.
Hey, wait.
But you didn't have time to pimp it.
I didn't have time to pimp it out, though. So if I've got time to pimp
I would
it out,
love to see you.
Oh, man,
I would love to see it. I'd be mad at you.
Yeah, it's going to take me forever. I'm bat flipping. And
so the next game
forever.
would be starting by the time you guys...
Well, so this is the end of the season, as I understand it. I'm walking off Game 7 in the World Series. Now, I will understand that when we play whatever team we're playing against next season...
You're getting one in the ear hole.
I know what's coming to me. Yep, I'm getting beamed.
And you're good with that?
And I'm good with it.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's like an assumption of risk.
Yes, that's it. I'm going to pimp out this home run, and I'm going to get beamed.
So this is a Joe Carter, 1993.
Maybe
Toronto Blue Jays,
We can
Game
add
7.
that in there. Yeah, if it makes you feel
Well,
better.
then there's no consequence. I don't like that question. Did Nick ask that? Because I'm going to be upset with him.
I added the
you
Game
added that in the
7
season,
walk off
okay.
into the season.
Yeah, I might take my clothes off if it ends the season, because then what are they going to do?
You got to play next year. Are you retiring?
Well, or if I'm the winning run, does it matter? I can just sit out there.
Robin. Oh, so you're saying you drive in the winning run, or you're the winning? Because you can have that Robin Ventura walk-off homer that was a single against the Braves back in 20.
That's what I'm saying. You could really do what Pac's saying. You just
loiter
there.
So
and sit in it like Aaron Rodgers because he's a narcissist.
In the darkness.
And he's a butthole.
Robin Ventura hit a walk-off home run against the Braves. It was a grand slam, I think. And anyways, he touched first. He never rounded the bases, so the home run counted as a
check
single.
with the stat guy. I don't even remember that, but
I just
I'm
didn't
not as much a
hanging out.
Braves fan as you. I will admit that.
So I'm a little different. I'm gonna round the bases pretty
on.
quickly because I'm ready to get to the celebration. I'm ready to.
I'll pop the champagne at second base.
Pop it.
Put those goggles on.
That's why I'm saying I think Pack needs to not be the winning run. I think he needs to hit a home run and the guy on first or wherever scored.
I'll probably have my bat boy run the champagne bottle out to me before I get to first. I'm spraying it all over the infield.
So what we're saying is that Pack ends up in the Cobb County Jail for open container.
That's it.
That's right.
Hey.
Shout out to Cobb County.
Yeah.
Appreciate your service.
Well, appreciate everybody with the questions.
I didn't get to answer it.
You want to shout out your uncle again? Is that what you want to do? You complained about.
He also did like the left-handed cigarettes.
All right. So you already complained that you didn't want to do this.
No, but we just said that the Wedding Crashers rule in the Boom Boom Room is you have to answer it.
All right, you walked off. What are you doing?
I'm acting like I've been there before.
You just
If it ends the season, I will absolutely go out of. And that's where we're going to go into it, and this will be a 12 goodbye situation. There are unwritten rules, and like if everybody remembers, I think it was 2014 maybe. My boy Doo Donaldson won the MVP for the Toronto Blue Jays. Jose Bautista did a bat flip almost to the ceiling of the Rogers Center.
That's right.
But given the moment, it was fine because it was a humongous grand slam to put him up late in the game. And, of course, he hit it off some guy that was throwing 105 miles an hour. Like, given the moment, I think any human being is going to get swept away in the emotion. But I would want to have the mindset that Pac's saying of, I've done this before, because if you're going up there to be like a carnival festival, you're not going to be able to even hit the ball. Like, you have to have some level of calm in the moment.
I'll be honest with you. I could be single A exhibition game.
Gone.
If I hit a home run,
Gone.
pimping that thing out, baby.
Yeah, pants are coming off, throwing the socks at the pitcher.
That's it.
I think like David Ortiz is an example I would give, where he hit a ton of huge home runs. He took his time running the bases, but it was still within the parameters of those unwritten rules. Like, you're gonna show emotion.
Yeah, you're being a little homer there.
But like, he just sauntered around the bases, so he was enjoying the moment, but it wasn't over the top. Like, that would be my question to y'all in CNN is, what is over the top? Because Pac just admitted, if I run around naked because I ended the season, I'm going to get thrown at immediately. Probably in spring training, you're going to get thrown at.
Yep.
So there are rules. There are rules. There are unwritten rules in society. Everybody just wants to pick on baseball. You should hold the door for a woman. That's an unwritten rule. You're not going to go to jail for not holding a door for a woman.
This generation doesn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. They're soft. But I don't have any leadership skills, so I'm putting the mic down.
All right. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get the sheriff back to Scott Bobby Land. And
thank you,
we
Scott
appreciate
Bobby.
everybody listening. If you haven't got a shirt and you want one, please let us know. And we'll be back for our regularly scheduled episode, maybe. We'll see.
What is that? That would be Sunday the...
Everything will be settled that we discussed, so this episode will be meaningless by that time.
Can we commend Jet or Ace for sending in questions? Because I feel like our listeners need to understand there's a direct correlation between participation and our illustrious guests. Other than the bowl of chili, who's just an esteemed person of his own, Cocky Yalamichili.
That's right.
And I learned his name just like Tua Tungo Valoa. My
go.
tongue is on point tonight, baby.
Hey, pause.
But anyway, I think our listeners need to understand, because a lot of people have said they want to be on the show, but then they don't send in any questions.
They don't buy shirts.
Well, I don't. The shirts is if you can afford it.
The sheriff's taking y'all to task right here, but we do appreciate everybody listening.
It is.
A lot of listeners.
We love the listeners, and it's free to send in questions. It's free to interact with the show, and then maybe you might end up here on the double GoPro.
That's a great point.
You might be part of the boom boom, right?
Get to see behind the scenes. So, anyways, we hope to have a guest next week. Anyways. Hopefully.
We'll see.
And we got to get everything scheduled.
Yeah,
And
we gotta
that's
get
it. And our 12 goodbyes.
Yeah,
Anything
12
else?
goodbyes. That's it. Let's say
He does have
goodbye.
some But
Shout
we're gonna do it.
Shout them out.
Everybody be safe. Go Georgia. Hopefully we're all smiles at the other end of this episode.
Georgia 31, Bama 20. You heard
All
it
right.
here first.